Charlotte McLeod with the Investing News Network, and here today with me is Louis James, editor of the International Speculator. Thank you for joining me today.
Happy to be here.
Great. So, way back at the beginning of the year, you said this would be the year of the two yellow metals. How do you think so far that's held up?
Well, obviously, 1 out of 2.
1 out of 2. Not bad.
You know, if that was baseball, that wouldn't be bad. So the two yellow metals are gold and uranium. Gold is having a good year. It could be better. I think it may well soon be much better. But if not, it's coming. Uranium is giving people pause. Doesn't seem to be going anywhere. But that's still, I may have to put my neck out on the line on this one, but that is absolutely a when, not if question in my view. People want the lights to come on in the next few years. Uranium prices will have to go up, and that's just a no-brainer. I mean, farther down the road, the energy scenario may change, but in the near to mid-term, uranium prices will go up and the stocks accordingly.
So it's when, not if. Is it fair to ask when? I feel like we've been hearing when.
Yeah, well, actually, so our projections looking at the new projects coming on, demand, all this stuff, were actually by the end of this year. So we're not actually wrong yet. You know, we'll see what happens by the end of this year. But we do expect the surplus from the secondary supplies to be dried up by the end of this year. I had thought that speculators might have started pushing it up by now, but that hasn't happened yet. But at the end of the day, reality does matter, and the lights need to come on. So I'm pretty confident that we'll start seeing it pick up soon.
Okay. So for gold, I think a big story this year has been cryptocurrencies, and do they compete, that kind of thing. What do you think? Do you see them as...
No, I don't think they compete at all. You know, the more the merrier. I think there's absolutely a market for the cryptocurrencies. I worry about the hackability and other issues with them. You can't hold one. Well, you can hold a physical Bitcoin in your hand, but it's not the same as an ounce of gold. Ultimately, you're dealing with ones and zeros, but there's still a market for that because they're not issued by governments, and I think that's really interesting. You know, the whole reason for billions and billions of dollars for going into these markets is simply that governments can't overprint them. And that tells you something about our world today, that there's that much market for something that's supposedly inflation-proof. But that's very different from the security of something that for thousands of years has been acceptable as a form of payment or wealth storage all over the world. You know, any language, any place, gold is gold. It's the ultimate form of security. And I don't think cryptocurrencies quite fill that role. So different critters, different things, more the merrier.
That's fair. So also for gold, a big theme has been lack of new discoveries. Are there any areas, geographical areas, that you think are exciting right now where we are seeing discoveries?
Well, lack of new discoveries, yeah. I don't really believe in peak gold or anything like that. And lack of new discoveries is discoveries of a certain kind. There are lower grade deposits out there. There's a lot of gold out there. All you have to do is notch down the grade, and at higher prices, those become economic. So no, I don't see gold being driven by a lack of discovery. And if you're, say, Polyus working in Russia, you don't care about the Russia risk. There's tons of gold in Russia. And I'm not sure they actually care that much about how much it costs them to produce. They have interesting relationship with the government there. Anyway, so no, that's not the driver's seat. The driver's seat is the safe haven factor, of course, and what's going on in the world. And you know, the world I look at out the window and see doesn't look safer to me. And I think that's very bullish for gold.
Okay. What do you think? We had earlier, this month or maybe the month before, we had Paulson & Co. come and say we should have a coalition of people who kind of tell the gold producers what they should be doing. What do you think about that?
Well, as an advocate of the free market, of course, I would oppose anything like that. It's an arrogant assumption that the experts know best. I think the market should determine. And, you know, the market can be wrong sometimes, but that's better than some central body making a wrong decision for everybody. Okay.
So this year, we're almost at the end of the year. Can you talk about what your most exciting investment has been this year? It doesn't have to be a specific company, it could be, or just commodity.
Well, most exciting investment. I'm still very excited about what we talked about last time, the golden runway. That's worked out. We've had 2 examples of first pour this year. One was Pretium, which was up 85% from the construction decision to the first pour. Another one was Atlantic Gold, which was up about 192% between when they decided to build the mine and when they poured their first bar. So that's still going well. But actually, the big news in the resource space right now that's exciting me a lot is the bigger than expected push into energy metals in the alternative energy scenario. I mean, it's one thing for Volvo to say we're going to do away with internal combustion engines. It's another thing, though, if General Motors says that. That's really big. And it's one thing for France to say, you know, by 2040 we're going to ban gas cars in France. It's another thing for China to say we're going to do it, and that's big. And they're a totalitarian government. They can just do it, right, as fast as they want. So these are big pushes, and they have enormous consequences for a lot of commodities. The obvious ones, copper and lithium and other things that go into batteries. But there's a lot of silver in those solar panels, by the way, too. That's part of this whole picture. So cobalt, very bullish on a number of commodities, and my team is researching these now.
Okay, you'll be looking at those more closely. Okay. All right, those are all of my questions. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Once again, I'm Charlotte McLeod, and this is Louis James.